Here at Stoic Wisdom, old concepts and new findings meet. Cheers. In a world gone crazy and hazy, this channel offers clarity, resilience, and progress. Remember to subscribe and enable notifications before we get into today's knowledge, so you can join our community and never miss an illuminating moment. Anytime you find value in what we offer, even as little as emailing it to a friend or hitting the like button can add to the wisdom. Mentally, get ready for the journey. Let us all learn old wisdom, overcome hardships, and develop resiliency. Focus on this film in particular. Why, you may wonder. This is a call to more introspection and a break from the daily distractions. You know the videos that briefly catch your attention, which you watch, consider for a little while, and then perhaps leave a comment for a friend. But right away you get caught in a tangle of other quick readings, losing vital information that you may utilize every day. Unlike the present craze of movies full of quick productivity advice and miracle cures, I provide you with unusual material here. I will go over 7 behaviors that you should completely give up in order to support a flexible life full of drive, productivity, long-term vision, and mental health. Our contemporary culture, which seems to be rushing to discover shortcuts, is eclipsing these principles more and more. Driven by morality, self-control, and obvious reflection on our thoughts and deeds of Stoicism, this video aims to give you a fresh outlook on life. The fundamental sources of power, according to the Stoics, are the ability to know oneself and remain composed in the face of adversity. As such, every habit this film covers will be a step toward a more balanced and conscious life, where your choices and actions are in harmony with a greater purpose and your long-term well-being. Let's look into these methods together and absorb them as useful, transforming wisdom for our daily lives instead of just as information. You absolutely get that. Unlike your typical pattern with other movies, you know a few people who fit the description I give. Could you perhaps pay closer attention to this one? Once you've watched, close the browser window or turn off the screen on your phone and give our discussion some serious attention. I want you to give great thought to the habits I'm going to list, those you should never do, and start considering, based on these reflections, how to put these changes into practice in your life. This is not a movie that one should just see and then forget. If so, that will be just another example of self-sabotage you let in your life. Encountered it? If you wish to avoid a course of maladaptation that results in problems with mental and cognitive health, you must put what you will learn here into practice. Let's look at these habits together and how to stop them with awareness and by implementing strategies for a more balanced and nutritious existence. This video acts as a launching pad on a path towards self-awareness and personal growth, away from the pitfalls of self-sabotage and paths that lead to mental and cognitive damage. Travel with us on this transforming and growing adventure. Keeping interactions with toxic people is the first habit I advise you to break. I am aware that occasionally you can believe there is no risk involved. Maybe this person in your circle is someone you know, someone who whispers behind your back, forces smiles, and occasionally hurts you. You choose to overlook this even though you are aware of it, maybe because you think you need this person in your life. A lot of the time, this tolerance results from unhealthy self-images. This person, nevertheless, stands in for a stressful situation in your life. They are a stress-producing pin on the map of your life, like an infection that never goes away and finally wears out and overwhelms your emotions. Therefore, you have to remove this poisonous individual from your range of conduct and interaction, this psychic host that penetrates your routine. Though I know it might sound challenging, consider the rusty nail analogy. It is better to put up with the short agony of removal than to let the virus keep eroding your system from the inside. Immediately separating yourself from these poisonous people who harm you and jeopardize your emotional and cognitive health is the habit I suggest you develop. Maybe things are not as hard as they appear. Have in mind the nail metaphor. This might be a very helpful tool in your choice to look for a mental and emotional healthful setting. Don't forget to subscribe for daily thoughts and conversations if you're finding this interesting. Remember to indicate the date today in your remark below when you share your favorite Stoic quotation. Together we can develop and connect. Continue it, please. Sedentarism is the second habit that one should avoid. Inactivity shows your brain as well as the people in society around you how well you take care of yourself. It represents your assessment of who you are and, in the case of a selfie, how you see yourself in connection to the outside world, other people, and the future. Sedentarism affects this perception directly. Think of the person who is inactive and unconcerned with their physical well-being. They not only show others that they don't care about themselves, but they also tell themselves this. In his research, American psychologist William James, who is regarded as the father of American psychology, brought forth significant insights. He showed how much our bodies may tell our brains. Our body state can be remarkably read by our brain. Your brain senses whether you are sick, weary, or irritated. An inactive body is inefficient both energetically and enzymatically, and your brain interprets this as a reduced sense of self-efficacy, or what many people also refer to as self-esteem. As such, battling sedentarism involves taking care of your mental and self-image in addition to your bodily well-being. Along with being healthier, an active body tells your brain that you are competent, effective, and self-sufficient. This improves your self-efficacy view and self-esteem, two essential components of a happy and fulfilling existence. The third rule you need to follow is to stay away from educational stagnation. Whether it comes from not studying anything at all, or from concentrating on one subject only. The absence of commitment to your studies can confine you to your comfort zone, which has serious consequences. Among these are the risk of professional obsolescence, the difficulty in reintegrating or adjusting to the work market, or the problems in making the move to the professional world after finishing advanced academic stages, such as undergraduate and graduate degrees. However, limiting oneself to studying a single subject or field prevents you from having a more comprehensive and varied understanding of the world. The need of taking a wide perspective and taking into account several elements and linkages is indicated by the word holistic here. Check out any electronic device. You can examine each component, the screen, the camera, and microphone or other parts, in turn, or you can try to comprehend the gadget as a whole, taking all of these into account. Refrain from studying is comparable to being blind to this comprehensive viewpoint, and by concentrating just on one subject, you confine yourself to a narrow perspective that is unable to convey the complexity and diversity of things. It is essential to learn how to evaluate problems from many perspectives in a world that is becoming more and more linked, and where diverse fields of knowledge interact and impact one another. Whatever your line of work, this method not only expands your cognitive repertoire, but also improves your ability to innovate and be efficient. Investing in your education is therefore essential, but do not limit yourself to one area. Discover how much and how diverse knowledge is. Along the way, you will not only have a wider perspective, but also enhanced abilities that will enable you to be more flexible, creative, and successful in anything you choose to do. The relentless search for instant pleasures is the fourth habit I highly advise you to break. This behavior can show up as binge eating too much junk food, playing video games for hours on end, watching porn, reading flimsy novels, skimming news items, or giving up on any task that calls for more work. Aside from that, stay away from jobs at work that require more work. Your success, both personally and professionally, is hampered by an absence of systematic training and attention. Changes in these habits are necessary if you really want to progress in life and accomplish objectives that call for work and commitment. Cut back on the amount of time you spend idly perusing social media, particularly if these pursuits don't provide true education or amusement. Not that I discourage entertainment. Actually, I support activities of leisure that really offer enjoyment and relaxation. Content that just supports unhealthy habits or dysfunctional beliefs should be avoided, though. Watching others, for instance, smoke, drink, or use drugs might normalize these behaviors in your mind and make them seem normal and acceptable. It is essential to give up on chasing fleeting pleasures and to refrain from overindulging in the dopaminergic stimulation of your brain. Look for more enduring and significant kinds of satisfaction that will support your long-term development and well-being. This can be taking up new interests, picking up new abilities, or just devoting more time to worthwhile and fulfilling pursuits. Fifth, procrastination. One of human tendencies, procrastination, is a strong opponent of the Stoic quest of virtue and perfection. Fundamentally, procrastination is a break from Stoic ideals, an inability to give wisdom development and the quest of the good first priority. The Stoics advise us to resist the temptation to put things off and to live in the present. Procrastination, in the Stoic perspective, is a sign of internal strife, a struggle between reason and desire, rather than just a matter of postponing action. It is a betrayal of our higher selves to enjoy transient pleasures at the price of long-term fulfillment. The Stoics promote the disciplined practice of impartially analyzing our ideas and impulses in order to fight procrastination. By use of mindfulness practice, we are able to identify the actual causes of our procrastination, the illogical worries and the misdirected desires, and to face them with clarity and purpose. Moreover, procrastination can be effectively countered by the Stoic philosophy of amor fati, or the love of fate. The temptation of procrastination can be overcome, and the Stoic ideal of eudaimonia, living in harmony with nature, embraced by accepting every moment and every work as a chance for development and self-improvement. The sixth habit you should try to break is running away from stressful situations. One typical mistake is to totally avoid difficult or uncomfortable situations. Actually, though, our system needs stress, moderate degrees of it, to operate at its best. Performance and stress have an inverted U-curve connection. Stress is good, and even required in small amounts. Even if too much of it can be bad, you should put yourself in situations where you are moderately stressed. This can be, for instance, starting a discussion with someone you wish to know better, expressing yourself clearly in front of a certain group of people, speaking in business meetings, or presenting papers in school or university. Miss chances to speak in front of an audience, such as academic presentations. It is imperative that one develops this talent. When at all feasible, speak in front of an audience, and don't be reluctant to express your opinions. If you can afford it, don't be scared to move out of your parents' home and live in a different city. More priceless than any savings is the knowledge and experience acquired along the way. This guidance is meant especially for people in this circumstance. That is not an illusion. The main lesson of this last habit is to observe your repertoire of events and behaviors rather than to avoid obligations or circumstances. You give yourself greater power for a more satisfying and whole existence by taking on these obstacles. These encounters help you to mature, learn, and develop, which opens the door to a more fulfilling and wealthy life. It takes a few principles and the avoidance of negative behaviors to lead a life of purpose and fulfillment. Toxic relationships can first and foremost be detrimental to your mental health and personal development. As Stoic philosophy advises, it is crucial to surround oneself with individuals who encourage the best in you, therefore fostering virtue and well-being. Fighting with sedentarism is also essential. A sound mind is housed in a healthy body, hence the Stoics felt that caring for oneself is a duty. Frequent physical activity enhances the spirit and sense of self in addition to bodily health. Another crucial component is to respect a varied education. A wide perspective of the world is what the Stoics maintained leads to wisdom. For a better grasp of life and human nature, you must therefore seek information in many domains rather than limiting oneself to what you think is significant. A major advice is also to refrain from the never-ending chase of fleeting and shallow pleasures. The Stoics recognized greater and more significant joys found in virtue and self-knowledge and stressed the need of pursuing internal satisfaction rather than depending on outside circumstances. And last, one should not be afraid of difficulties. Having challenges is a great chance for the Stoics to build resilience and coping mechanisms. Challenges are like stones that, while appearing to be barriers, really help to mold and guide life. Taking up these ideas will lead you to a more contented, robust life and ongoing personal development. Along with avoiding destructive habits, this method, which is in keeping with the principles of Stoic wisdom, opens the door to a peaceful and contented life founded on self-awareness and self-control. And the seventh and last one from our journey today is comparing oneself to others. The practice of contrasting oneself with others is seen by the Stoics as a strong obstacle to inner tranquility and calm. Strictly focusing on our own path, Stoicism helps us to develop morality and wisdom independent of outside norms or other people's achievements. Comparing takes away our independence and lets other people determine how valuable we think we are. The Stoics remind us that real fulfillment comes from living in harmony with nature and reason, from matching our deeds with our own moral compass, rather than from outperforming others. Moreover, the Stoic notion of oikeiosis, the recognition of something as one's own, or belonging to oneself, invites us to see others as fellow travelers on the road of life rather than as rivals. We are urged to develop empathy and compassion and to see the intrinsic dignity and value of every person, rather than harboring jealousy or anger toward others who seem more successful or accomplished. Giving up comparing ourselves releases us from the bonds of outside approval and comforts us in the understanding that real greatness is within, just waiting to be developed. Famously said by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." We discover real freedom and joy in the Stoic quest of eudaimonia, growing in harmony with our actual nature when we embrace our own special path, free from the weight of comparison. I appreciate you traveling with me via education and history. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share my channel for more fascinating research if you liked and thought this content to be instructive. Your encouragement is inspiring me to impart information. To say hi or to share any thoughts or questions, leave a comment. Never cease to be inquisitive and discovering till then.